All right, let's get this started. Welcome back, everyone. Another week, another couple days of price action analysis. I've got my boy Kevin on here, the man. We are moderators together for the Bullishbrs, and we haven't done anything collaborative in a long time, man. We need to get back together and start rocking and rolling on some stuff.
For sure, dude. 100%.
We've been around and teaching people. We have totally different styles of analysis, but we always seem to arrive at the same or similar price targets. So we're all kind of on the same page, and it's cool because when we work together, we can thrive together and bounce ideas off of each other and reinforce different price products or price targets or different setups, stuff like that. And we're pretty good at keeping each other in check that way too, which is good because when you have a couple of different analysis styles working together and one of them doesn't quite jive, then you question things like, hey, wait a minute, there's something missing here. What am I missing? And
Right.
it works out great because then we come up with an even more accurate way of pulling things off. And between Matthew and myself, I mean, we've been still holding that 94% accuracy on our callouts. We have been like absolutely killing that, and we continue to run that way. And it's really just a way of the main reason we can maintain such accuracy is we are really good at picking off easy slam dunk setups. And when we focus on easy trades, price targets and analysis become easy, and so does your trade plan. That's the focus, is we find stuff that's moving the way we see it. Using that method, for instance, in recent time, we were almost a full 6 weeks ahead of the whole nuclear craze. I mean, we were on that, and we blew it out. 3 of the picks that we had on there made over 100% returns, and one of them made a 200% plus return. So,
Wow.
pretty killer moves. And that's the kind of way we roll. We get ahead of stuff, we get ahead of themes, we get ahead of trends, and thriving together is what it's about. All right.
100%.
So I'm going to give
Two heads are better than one.
Exactly, and then when you get a group of us, I mean, there's a few more of us in the Bullishbrs community. Dude, we rock. I can,
Yep.
I don't want to wear my elbow out, pat myself on the back, and giving ourselves kudos. But dude, we rock, and we pay it forward. We teach y'all how to fish. We don't just give away the fish. We teach you how to find them yourself and catch them, and in bulk. So moving on into it, I give a quick overview of QQQ, and then we can move into some swing trade setups that we've been watching. And I'm going to try to share some screenshots from Kevin. It's hard to share 2 screens on the format here and keep it in the format that we're broadcasting without setting up a whole new template. So kind of on the fly, having Kevin on here. We both like to share screens, but he's going to send me shots, and then I can go and pull them up and put them on the screen. Anyway, let me give it a quick.
Yeah, and guys, if you guys do have any questions, you want to go over any stocks yourself, any specific tickers, you want to go over some technical analysis, see if our analysis lines up with yours, let us know too. If anything, drop in the comments what you want to go over. And while you do that, I could do some analysis on that behind the scenes while Jeremy's covering another stock. So definitely drop in the comments if you want to go over any specific stocks.
Absolutely. And in other words, don't call Kramer, call us. We take requests and we will hook you up with straight up technical analysis. None of this jumping around on stage saying buy, sell, or hitting a bunch of funny buttons on a soundboard. Nah, we don't play that garbage. We get down to business, and that's where we should be. Anyway, short term, looking at QQQ, I'm looking at this quick measured move. It's just a jive off of the primary and secondary moves. It's a 2-for-1 setup. Peak target here, short term, for day traders, they're looking at 512.50 on QQQ. And looking out to the 2-hour chart, we have one hell of a parabolic bullish move that is set up. I mean, the presidency announcement gave us the primary, which was just a massive gap up overnight. That is our primary block, and the secondary is following through to the letter so far. We're up in past the 3/4 mark on that full block measured move, and we're probably shooting for the moon, but be careful. There will be some sellers between here and there, very likely. About 514, budget, 514.50 or so is like the absolute parabolic bull target. It's possible today. The one thing that this particular president tends to do, not necessarily make the market trend anywhere, but the volatility is awesome. And if we get him back into picking up his phone and tweeting, dude, the market just absolutely pays us hand over fist It is incredible the volatility that man brings to the market. Love it. We thrive on volatility. Others are afraid of it. So, volatility, bring it, baby. We love it. I'll go over probably a couple of stocks that you want to pick if you want to get down to it. Let me pop the other screen up so I can get this to jive.
Yeah, let's go over some stocks. Let's hit your list.
Pardon the mess that I made of my screen here. There we go. Now we got.
Oh, do you want to do what I send you, Microsoft?
Yeah, we got the quick screenshot on Microsoft there, and you got some zones pointed out.
So I just want to cover Microsoft real quick. So Microsoft had, as we see, we have been in a pretty big range on Microsoft ever since, I would say, let me just pull it up on my screen so I could see exactly. So that red basing candle where I created that demand zone was Monday the 9th, September 9th, right? So this was quite some time. This was about 43 bars, so over 50 days ago. So we've been in this huge daily range on the Microsoft for about 50 days now, right? With the low of the range being anywhere from 403 to about 410, high of the range being about 436, 440. Because of this range, because we had a daily demand zone, I ended up grabbing some swing contracts on Microsoft while we were coming out of demand. So I bought around 409, 410. I got the 420 calls for next week's expiration, and I'm even going to look to hold them into the next day or so because the momentum in the market has been very bullish, and we see that the ES has also been very strong, making new all-time highs. And just like Jeremy said, the volatility is great, but a lot of the times on ES, SPY, QQQ, NQ, we're getting these moves overnight. So because we're not getting the best price action on these during the day, it's best to maybe go find an equity, Microsoft, Apple, something that is moving the market during the day to trade or even swing trade. Because if something's not working day trading wise, if only moves are happening overnight, isn't our best bet to swing trade those moves then? So that's why I'm in these Microsoft calls. I did trim 50% of my position at 423. So like I said, I got the 420 calls when we were at 410. I got out 50% at 423. I do want to try to let them ride to maybe 430 or even 438 would be great. I did get next week's expiration.
Nice move, man. That's got to be well over 100% return on those options. For sure.
Oh yeah, real quick. I bought the options for $335 per contract. Right now they're sitting at $9 per contract.
Not bad. That's a 200% return plus.
Yep.
Very good.
Real good one.
Those are my kind of numbers.
Yeah, right.
I'm usually way out of the money. I play like stupid low contracts. Like, I'll primarily focus on spreads, but I'm looking at like, 4-8 cents a spread for a $5 wide in my range. And I'm pushing the same percentages, and that's what's important is like you get the direction right. If you got the whatever your risk factor may be, you just trade that. That's your plan, and you stick to it, and it works out really well. You start seeing 2, 3, sometimes 400, 500% returns. Those are the numbers, baby. And whatever strategy you're using on your options chain, when you find that sweet spot, that's your bag. You stick to it. It works. I'm a little outside of that. I'm an oddball because I'm trading so far the money like no one in their mind would ever consider taking those contracts on. That's me. But I'm also probably juggling about 20 other things all the time. So it's like that's stuff I can like put minimal risk in and just let it run. And I can set exit targets and stuff like that. So that's kind of the way it goes. And having a trailer on there, I can see your trailing stop is right on cue. That's exactly where I'd put it, and it's
gotta play it right. Gotta play it safe.
Right in. You'd rather get stopped out for a gain than a loss every time, and if you're consistent with that, you're gonna bag it. You guys will make money.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, let's see here. We got a certified chain professional CSCP Detroit Lion. Oh, what is this? Is that a bot?
What happened?
I got a bot comment.
Oh, that's really funny.
Get the bots out of here. Come on, guys.
Guys, make sure you drop a like, show some love. Make sure you're oh my God, supported on the channel. What's it called? Subscribe to the channel. Been a long day. What's it, Thursday already?
I know.
Close to Friday.
Above all, tell your friends because we love paying it forward, and the more the merrier. We could have thousands in here watching this video. We'd still take requests, by the way. Even if you overwhelmed us, we'd still figure it out. We just run a longer
Supply
broadcast.
chain.
But yeah, long story short, we take requests, and the more people we can help, the better. We feel really good about that. It helps us to wear our elbows out, pat ourselves on the back,
You know it.
giving that good stuff. We're about to finish that move I just plotted out. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Moving into the watch list stuff, I'm going to do a lot more reviewing than anything here, but next
Not a bot. Bros, he said he's not a bot, but what? Are you sure?
I don't know, man. AI is pretty tricky these days.
What about... Well, wait, let's check. Is CS... No. Jared Goff is...
Oh, wait a minute. What was that? Hold on. This might be somebody I know. Hold on a second. Yeah. Cash Secure. Okay, Cash Secure Puts. This is from a Facebook group. I actually shared a little bit of a trail to find us here on this. Yes, awesome. Thank you, sir. Welcome to the watch list, and this is where we do a lot of our dope to plan our trades, and a lot of the cash secured puts and covered calls that I sell are based on this very thing. This is my analysis. Primarily, my position has been mostly involved in TNA because I've been able to average around an 18% monthly return on that for options premium, which is phenomenal. And I might be checking out NVDX pretty soon because they just started launch of weekly options today. So that's my bag, baby. That's where the premium is. And I think even a 2x leveraged ETF that's single equity oriented, all I gotta do is do my charting and sell some premium. That thing is going to be a cash avalanche. Let's just say that. I'm going to have to figure out what the yield is on that, but I think it's going to be pretty damn good, just to say the least. Right on. Well, let's get into a couple of things real quick here. Let me go into my watch list, and then I got a couple of other call-outs that you are talking about too. First, review. Zim, man, the shipping sector has been just on fire, volatile, and perfect for scalping, but now we're still kind of following through this trend, as choppy as it may be. I have a prediction that Zim is going to probably resist that previous high around 26 bucks here. We can see that giant spinner to our left. It's obvious. There's probably a little liquidity zone here. If that melts and we start to push past that pivot at 26, the target up here is about 28 bucks. In the long term, if this thing breaks that, we've got definite liquidity a little higher than that for a little bit above a reversion trade on market structure doing its thing. 28.50 to almost 30 bucks would be a little bit parabolic for this guy. At that point, I'd definitely consider taking some profit off. I'm taking risk off this thing today, even though I still have a target of 26 bucks on it short term. So I'm probably rounding that position out just a little bit more. Moving on to a couple other killer callouts that we've had here, and this is where we made.
You want to bring? Don't forget, bring your chart up so you take that Microsoft down.
Oh yeah, is it still up?
Yeah.
For real? Right. Oh, there's a little delay on YouTube. It should be showing this chart. This,
could that be? Oh yeah, my bad. My thing's like 3 minutes delayed.
Weird how it does that when you're the one purveying the broadcast, but the viewers get it a little quicker. I don't know why that is.
No, I have it up on YouTube Studio. I don't know why it was like 3 minutes behind though. I think I pulled it up a little late.
I wonder if when you're watching it on Studio, it finishes the render before it releases it to you, so you see the high visibility or the high resolution versus the standard definition. So I think that might be the case. Another call out we made is actually up 5.8% today already. TLN, this thing has been a beast. Ripped through my 190 target, hit that 197 pivot, and just kept on smoking to the moon, man. This thing is just a rocket ship, but look left. We've got primary move, we got secondary move. We might go for a 2.5er or a 1.5er here pretty quick here. And if it makes a 2fer, I'm going to be floored. This thing has just been absolutely ripping. And let's put on an extended target to about a 1.5. All I got to do is draw another box. Bang. And slap a pivot in there. 212.50. Good enough for me. If you're trading this thing on volatility and you're looking for the follow through, I think I would probably be very nimble to take profit around that range. But if you're riding on momentum and you're, one of those slightly more
Aggressive
traders, it can very well smoke that. It already smoked my target, and it's still on fire, just running. So
yeah, this market's strong right now. Definitely run with the momentum, right? We don't want to try to catch the top. We don't want to call the top.
And this is the energy sector where we're looking at the kind of the inverse of what the primary theme was, which was nuclear. I think this is natural gas, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of where all the nuclear stuff got overhyped, pulled back. These guys win. So whenever you're looking at who's getting hurt in a trade, look at the reciprocate or look at the other trade, the inverse. What part of that sector is going to benefit when this part of the sector is coming down? And this is it.
All right.
So this is beautiful. Just absolutely follows the theme and heat process that Matthew talks about. Mm-hmm. And if you're interested, if you are very careful in searching, or maybe you reach out to him on one of the social medias out there, he might be inclined to share a little about a webinar he's going to be doing soon. I can't say much more than that. You have to ask him. But the dude talks about how to handle hedges, edges, and themes. And dude, it works. When you get into the right themes, all you got to do is put your dope on the chart, plan your trade, trade your plan. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, guys. Come on. Another one of my call outs is actually only up about 2% today, but it's following through. SoFi, I got a lot of dope on this thing. It's made major measured moves, and it hit the roof basically on the earnings call and came back down to earth. Half back was perfect. Now we're kind of trending, and this is where I always talk about market structure doing its thing. This is where we would expect a trend to begin. The reversion trade target about 1320, and we're strong so far, so it's looking pretty good. Just be cautious that there will be quite a bit of liquidity here. Whenever I talk about liquidity zones, I always talk about watching the wicks of the big candles to the left, and there's one big one between about 1250 and 1320. So be nimble if it starts to exceed current range into that zone. There's going to probably be some volatility, more than likely consolidation in that range, and then we'll see if we can follow on through and take it to a very profitable long-term company to invest in. This kind of parallels the trade with SQ. I'm going to type that manually because it's in my other list. Same scenario, but this one's lagging a bit. It's a little slower. So we're watching for a break above the $78 pivot. 89 is the top of the range of consolidation from market structure here over the long term. And the swing is, if it starts to breach that 89 target, start shooting for half or whole reversion trade targets. Pretty obvious pivots right there. 109 and 142. Can you imagine getting it this cheap? Pretty dope. And options, I think some people are starting to take on what would be considered poor man's covered calls, or long a leap, short calendars, monthlies and such, and generating income from this thing. It's kind of a prime target for a decent wheel trade. The yield's pretty good on this one. The implied volatility on the options chain is just right for SQ. So I like it as an income stock if you want to consider selling some puts on this thing. Kind of look for where support is. You want to be paid well below the support range for putting the risk out there to write a contract for a put. I would say probably the 74 or 74.50 target would be about the most risk averse you could be in this range, but it's still a bit volatile. If it crumbs through 72.50, you're going to be a little bit perturbed about selling that put. So be nimble if you're going to do this. I like to swing trade short puts myself and maximize the return I can get on it, because I can scalp the little range of the day that put is volatile. So I can do that. But this is one I definitely consider. It's got the makings of a pretty decent yield. Moving on, we're going to go to EQT. That one's not killing it today, but the setup is beautiful. It followed through. We had a target on it last week, right in here at about 38.60. We were aware of this liquidity range, and it blew through it and printed a fabulous measured move above it. Didn't quite hit the full block target here of the daily. We had this here as a secondary, but it's above half and it's above 3/4. Follow through is pretty likely, at least to about the 86.6 fib of the high here. Back here in April, May, and $41, $42 is kind of stretching this trend out a little bit. It is pretty parabolic. Be real with yourself. If you're in this thing long, be nimble, be ready to take some profit pretty quick in this. You're starting to see some wicks around here. That trend's losing a little steam. So kind of keep on top of that. Last week, my dogs picked a stock. No joke.
Was it Chewy?
Yeah, of course. Matthew and I were doing our thing. My dogs got a little Riley in the background. They started barking. And he's like, should we look at Chewy? I'm like, yeah, let's look at Chewy. Dude, they picked a hell of a stock. It's working.
So funny.
And personally, I like Chewy. That's a great company. When my oldest dog passed away not too long ago, they actually sent a card and flowers. What big corporation does that? That's
sweet. That's amazing. Really sweet. I guess, did you have like some type of what's it called with them?
I had an account with them.
An account, yeah.
Back and forth, they do some chats and stuff. They'll ask you some stuff, and typically it seems like it might be a little bit AI-ish, like it's just kind of generalized responses and stuff, like a basic support chat.
But that's cool that they have that.
Yeah,
that they go out of their way to make you feel more part of a family versus it's just a business.
And there was a dog toy we bought. It had a little bit of a manufacturer's flaw in it. It kind of come apart. Dog toys come apart, but this one came apart like the same day we got it.
All right, well then short it.
Well, the thing is, we got on support with them. We had the whole conversation about, hey man, can we make this right? Get even just a exchange. I don't care. I'll buy another one. Doesn't matter. It's very expensive. But the process was like finished in the conversation, and they said, by the way, give Sirius a nice pat on the head and a pet for us. And we're like, oh man, he passed away. And that response, they're like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. And then they literally send a card and flowers after that. Somebody's monitoring that chat. It's got to be real.
Cards and flowers, they got to pay for that. That's
I know.
Not free. So that's great.
Not free.
That's really sweet.
On top of warranting a toy. I mean, that's huge. That speaks a lot to me personally. I mean, I love that company just for that. I don't let my emotions make my trades. I just trade the technical data. And so far, it's been pretty damn bullish since the dog started barking. The day it started barking, it gapped up. So,
funny.
It's rolling. Kind of fun to let the dogs pick a stock once in a while. Just be aware we are at a little bit of a liquidity zone here. If you look left on the daily, you can see there was a pretty obvious little inverted hammer doji rat there. So be cautious here. There's going to be some profit taking. It is about a reversion of this particular part of the trend. But if we melt through that and we get outside of $31, it's game on. We'll run for at least a half measure move to the previous high or so to 33 and a quarter. And follow through could take us even as high as 37.60, the end of the box, the end of the measured move. So I love drawing these things, and they're so stupid simple on a chart, but they work so well when you find a reversal. And it just makes picking your price targets so much easier than anything out there. It's the simplest analysis is sometimes the best analysis. In fact, it's always the best analysis from my point of view.
Yeah.
Last but not least, there's one that's pulled back a little bit today that I'm looking at. We called this one out, I want to say it was a little over a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. I had my self-proclaimed analyst target on it at 57.25 or so, and it got pretty close recently, and then it pulled back. It's looking like a quick support test here. There's still some strength in this trend, but it's looking like there's some profit taking happening here. Look for a push back down to like 54.50 or so, and maybe we'll find some buyers in there to continue this trend higher and hit my target. After all, it is my target. It's usually pretty accurate. Not to blow my own horn or nothing,
Yeah, seriously, Jeremy. Jeez.
Not getting cocky over here.
Don't hurt your arm,
it's early market structure with this one on this particular downward trend that was brought to us, but it's reversion target. So it's like the low end of the spectrum reversion target. So it's pretty reasonable to return to 57 and a quarter. If it goes for full reversion, I got that marked out too at about 59.70. It's pretty much in line with it. Market structure tends to follow through pretty well. If we look in the past of this thing, terrific gap downs, accumulation, the whole shebang. First squeeze, second squeeze, 52-week low test, and then all of a sudden we break resistance and trend. That's just market structure doing its thing. Reversion targets are always first. You can see I got all these pivots here in the reversions, and it nailed every one of them and stepped on the gap for halfway. Now we're back. We're running the same structure. So always look to like really long charts to sometimes find your center of gravity, so to speak, and figure out where things are likely to happen. And that's how we get a lot of these long-term pivots where we're trading. So once it enters our trader's action zone, or we can define that, or we can go and fudge that a little bit, make it our own. That's what I do. And we find market structure tends to follow through. It tends to do what it does pretty well. It's very efficient. And, some people will say that the market is literally designed to transfer money from the hands of the impatient into the hands of the patient. And if we're patient with market structure, that usually does the trick. So patience is key in this, and we do very well with that. Got maybe one to add to this week, but it was really just kind of a follow through, although it's turning out to look like a reversion trade to me. AMD, just one of the chips I'm watching. You're into Microsoft. I like AMD because it's got a fairly inexpensive options chain, and I can make some pretty killer percentages swinging this. Last target we called out was a bearish 1-for-1, and it freaking nailed it damn near to the penny. I took 400% return going into put debit spreads on that. Probably the day after it hit bottom on a rebound, and now I'm long. I'm looking for a reversion trade back to about 157 or so, and I'm taking note that there is a bit of a liquidity zone. You can see that doji hanging out right there, right at about 150 and a half or so. Should be a good point to maybe trim some of my long position for some profit taking, because that was a pretty good little swing there. Looking at a lot of the chips, it seems that all of them are kind of starting to accumulate around their lower ranges and start to swing back up. Microsoft is one of them. It's doing very well. And we're starting to see some of that outsized spending on AI development start to, follow through with some maybe returns on investment, so to speak, short-term returns on investment. So fundamental analysis is not my bag, but that's what the chart would assume to say to me. And it seems to be working out. What's your take on any other chips there? Other than Microsoft,
like NVIDIA, AMD type stuff. Take a quick look. NVIDIA. Well, obviously NVIDIA is at all-time highs, right? So NVIDIA is again making all-time highs. Pretty crazy. It's funny. I was in some swing trades on in some calls on NVIDIA. I got the 144 calls yesterday. I sold them a little too soon this morning, but that was also like a little $2,000 banger right there. So when it comes to the market, when we get bouts of strength like this in the market where it's just everything's going parabolic. You could swing calls on Meta, Microsoft, Apple, this, that, AMD, NVIDIA. When those large caps are running, when the market is running, we get big news, we get elections, we get Trump winning, whatever it might be that's causing it. Just ride that momentum. Don't be trying to short every pullback. Exactly. Look to grab some longs. Look to swing it. Trade with the momentum. If the momentum's on the daily time frame, try to swing it. You have to swing it. If the momentum's on the lower time frame, then you're going to be scalping it, right? We're used to, with the market ranging 70 to 80% of the time, me and Jeremy, our styles, scalping, day trading 90% of the time, right, Jeremy? Except for, I know, your wheel trades and stuff like that.
Pretty much. And so, the other issue is that when you're a scalper and you focus on day trading, like I you know me, I'm on a 1 second chart now with a Renko. It's nuts to even fathom the idea of scalping at that level. But you gotta pay attention to what the trend is telling you. So like while you're sitting there waiting for your opportunity of a reversal, like you don't believe in the trend and you're sitting there waiting for the rug pull or the shoe to drop to where you can go short and scalp the short real quick, you end up missing 90% of the bullish trend. Same in reverse. If you're in a bearish trend and you're trying to catch the reversal to bounce back up going bullish, you're missing the bearish trend. So always zoom out and look left and figure out what your projection is for the trend. And if you're going to scalp the little pullbacks, that's fine. You can scalp both directions and flip positions pretty easily. It's with the technology we have for trading, we can do that all day long. In fact, we do. But you start running into that ability to focus on the really tight moves. It's great, but you end up, if you stay focused in it too long, you kind of lose touch with the long-term things, and it's very important to pay attention to those, especially when you're running into parabolic trends, because if you miss the meat and potatoes move, you're gonna be kicking yourself for, taking the peanuts off the pullbacks. Just saying, you know, you want meat and potatoes. You don't want, a bag of peas or some peanuts. Not airline food, guys. Come on, go for the gourmet meal.
Come on, Jeremy. You know I'm hungry. Hurry up.
I know we get to talking about food sometimes in our live streams. In our group this morning, we were talking about this ribeye roast I made on early in the week, and I'm just like, oh, so good. Long story short, when price action gets boring and we're just waiting for a follow through on a setup, we just start talking about random stuff, and then eventually we get back into the swing. Hey, here's our trade. Bam, it's happening, and that's cool. Pass the time with some little small talk, and then if you keep yourself from trying to wait for that rug pull and instead you follow the trend, sometimes just take your mind out of it for a second, zoom out with your mind, just get off the trade subject for just a moment and relax, redirect, and then go back into it. Aha, boom, my trade plan's following through. That's the most awesome feeling ever. And when you're helping others to figure that out too, it's even better, because it not only prevents people from overtrading, getting nickeled and dimed out of chop in a trend, but their ability to stay patient grows with that. And that's the whole point of it, is being able to help people stay calm and collected, and not be like overwhelmed and over trading. And if your heart is pounding in a position, stop. It shouldn't be. It should be boring as hell and slow and easy. Above all,
that's right.
Easy. That's the key word. If you guys have been hanging around with us back in early October, Matthew and I were talking about this. We broke out of NVIDIA's previous high, of course. We found the primary move was blocked off, ready to go, and then it popped above, and then lo and behold, I printed the old wolf wave on there and didn't quite hit the wolf wave, but then I printed my self-proclaimed analyst target here, about 147.60. Here we are today, blowing through it, baby. And all I did was put up a measured move block. That simple. Simple, easy, boring trade, right? This is where I'm taking profit. NVIDIA killed. And again, I go back to NVDX, the 2X leverage ETF, offering weekly options starting today. Pretty awesome.
That's cool. That's really cool.
If you don't have the capital to wheel trade NVIDIA, because it is quite volatile, it does pay a nice premium. Natural yield on monthlies, I think, with that thing is around 9%, which is pretty good. You go into leverage, 18%, easy mark. It should be. Theoretically, as long as we have volume on the weeklies for NVDX, it should be about the same as my TNA position did. It should be an average of about natural yield 18% or so. And if you swing the weeklies, you can beat that. So it does happen. Anyway, I think that's about it. We're kind of brief today. We didn't have a whole lot to talk about as far as new stuff, but maybe we got, let me see here. There's one by request that I popped up a little while ago. Where'd it go? Well, two. One is a weird one, and this is kind of a collector's toy maker, Funko.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that old Roaring Kitty should get on this one, but this has the makings and almost the setup of a meme stock. Just saying, it can do. Look left, guys. Reversion target's pretty obvious. We got liquidity up here around $12.90 to $13.50 as a halfback, so to speak. Market structure has done its thing, although very volatile and very choppy in this case. It's done everything it needs to do. This is where we're looking for the trend. And if we breach above that reversion target, look at this massive gap down candle here on the weekly. Can we revert that candle and hit 20 bucks? That's very possible. This thing's been known to be parabolic before. You look left back here in 2020, it did very well. They were circling bankruptcy at this point, and they pulled it out of the fire and just ripped. Everybody and their mother started collecting Funko Pops. I got a collection myself, but you got to realize that that's moving inventory and making profit. This is a retail stock's dream, and AMC's a little different. They sell service, but for meme stocks, I think this one has potential. Keep an eye on it. Don't forget about this one. It's one of those companies that can do some fun things. So, and they make toys, so It's fun either way.
So guys, we're gonna cover some toys, and we're gonna cover some toys and some dog toys today.
There you
Human
go.
toys and dog toys.
Why not? Um,
Love it.
there was one I had a while back. This guy came out and popped off 6 different tickers to me in a message on our YouTube channel, and I literally built a special edition analysis broadcast on this dude's picks because they were that good.
Wow.
I'm going to run through 2 of them. There's 2 of them that are kind of starting to show me some interest, and one of them is NVO. Pretty much walked up, blew through my bullish target, and now we're sitting exactly at my bearish target of 105-ish. Exactly, and ish. Yeah, I know. I know what I said.
Listen, we can't pinpoint every level. We gotta have zones. That's why we have zones. We have ranges,
Yes.
you know?
Exactly. And this thing plays nice. The charting is beautiful on it. The triple top was obvious. The pullback, the breakdown, measured move, all within the same block of the big primary. I got that outlined here. But we're right at a previous accumulation range, and I'm probably pressed to think and imagine that there might be some buyers present here eventually, so kind of keep an eye on this level. Of course, if we smoke this level, we can always short it back for, half the trend back or more back to the next consolidation, but I'm going to watch this area for a bounce, and it certainly hit my bearish target, so now I'm looking for maybe a reversion trade in the works. Let me put the 2-hour chart up. I'll show you what I mean. Reversion has 2 zones here that are pretty obvious. You can see the accumulation high in this range here. So if we get a nice bounce, we can get a scalp from about 105, or if you're trading the break, about 106 or 107, and run to like 112, 113. Pretty easy trade to that liquidity zone. If we get a full reversion of that trend, yeah, baby, we can see it hit 118, 120, no problem. So watch this thing for momentum and watch it for a reversal right around this area. Of course, I'm going to put the gravy on that and say it can fail. And if the gravy drips off the plate, just let it hit the damn tablecloth, man. No one's going to care. Those things go in the washing machine. The only person who's going to complain is the person who has to bleach it. I choose darker colored tablecloths. They work better. But at any rate, yeah, just watch this area. If we get a nice clean double bottom here, easy scalp. This thing should give us some great price action. And if it don't, well, we just short it. We run it down to the next level. Pretty obvious, Captain. Put your foot up on the barrel there. Last but not least, another call out on this one was APO. Not as enthusiastic about this one anymore because it smoked my bull target and then some. This thing is in, absolute parabolic range. And look at this high. This is kind of weird. I'm not going to pull a religious thing, but 166.66. Yeah. It ranged so fast through that bullish target. It was just an absolute gap up play. I was happy taking my profit off at 143 and did so accordingly, but this thing just rocked. So what do we do now? Well, gaps love to resolve, and there is a big gap here down to like 148 possible. I'm not saying short it yet, but watch here for a bearish reversal and maybe a reversion trade. Realistically, down to like 150 or so is very probable in this case. And since we, have that split the mean here and draw a couple blocks, just to point it out. Bear with me here. I'm a little clumsy with my drawing sometimes. It's close enough. That's all that matters. Keep it simple. Looking for reversion. Even if it closed half that gap, 150-ish to 152, pretty good range if this breaks support here, and it's threatening to do it today, so kind of keep an eye on this thing for a quick short. If it stays in range of these 2 bars or stays above the half measured move block here where I'm going to place a pivot, let's say about 159 and some change. If it holds there and bounces, we end up with a bull flag. It'll probably range back up to like 163, 164 and flag out for a few days. So watching this one for a setup. I'm not taking this off my radar because it's been a good trading stock. This thing is just beautiful. Just easy stuff. But look at this long trend, man. This
Yeah,
company
man.
obviously knows how to make money, and the pullbacks, I would rather not short if I didn't have to. I could just take advantage of going for the long and riding this trend. Apollo's awesome. Kind of loving them. So, yeah, keep in touch with that one. Got any other tickers to throw at us, Kev?
Not too much, obviously, like I said before, this week, until the momentum dies down, keep riding this trend, right?
Yeah.
If you see something strong on a daily time frame, keep running with it. Have a good proper stop loss. If you're trading options, swing trading options, naked options, not where it's covered or something, you really have to protect yourself. Whatever you're getting into, if I'm getting into a Microsoft option at $3.50 a contract, I have to know that even if I want to put my stop loss at 250, if we gap down and I'm in calls and we gap down, it doesn't matter. I had a stop loss at $100 of a loss, because if we gap down and price on that contract opens way below that, I'm going to be stuck, right?
Yep.
So whenever you get in an option when you're swing trading, make sure you're okay with losing at least maybe say 80%.
Hedges and edges, man. Know where
That's
your
right.
hedges
That's
is.
right. Hedges too. You know it.
And then there's other strategies you can use in that too. I mean, options are by definition designed to be able to adjust positions more than just scalp them, but we do both. But one of the key factors, if you're a long-term investor or you got some size in this where it's going to take houses of movement to get on and into an unwinding your position to take profit, there is one strategy that kind of stands out for the long-term buy and hold type of folks, and that's called the collar strategy. I've written a piece on the Bullishbrs blog about it. It explains it very well, and a way to even turn it into an income strategy. And if you get into it, you can actually set collars and then roll them. So if you're in a parabolic trend like we are, you can roll them, generate profit and income from it while maintaining a long position that is self-hedged. It's a can't-lose situation at that point, as long as you make sure you're ahead of rolling it. So works out pretty good. And then you can add that to, if you wanted to add to that position at a specific level, say you're expecting a pullback that's kind of close to your average cost on your long-term position entry anyway, and or you're at a position where you would be comfortable adding to that at a certain price, you can always sell puts at a strike or two around that area and do the same thing. And only this time you get paid to wait for your entry. It's pretty cool.
That's dope.
Selling options to open. I mean, I love time decay. Be the Theta Gang, but if you're going to be able to
Theta Gang,
you're going to be able to wheel trade kind of the way I do, and I've wrote an article about my adoration of the wheel trade strategy. It's a little different. I'm sweet trading the short legs. You become a Theta Gangsta. So I even wrote that in the article. Come on now. But legit, you actually you're like the mob enforcer, man. You're just absolutely strong arming the market and selling premium hand over fist and collecting, man. You're not having to break a single kneecap either. Your intimidation is you wrote the contract, baby. You got some chutzpah. So yeah, it's like that. And when you're a long-term investor and you're generating income on your positions with it, great. And if you're also hedging yourself by occasionally putting out a collar strategy, which this is kind of the market condition where we would consider such a strategy, that can be profitable too. So
yeah,
stick with it. Learn some stuff about options if you're a buy and hold type. I promise you won't regret it. I mean, it'll absolutely turn you from a buy and hold, make the market average return maybe approach the levels that the S&P does, to you're going to blow the S&P out of the water. I mean, I've taught this strategy to everyone I can, and there's some people who've turned their kids, community college fund into Ivy League college funds using this strategy. I'm not kidding. I got people I can call right now to back me up on that. It is really that lucrative. So learn options, guys. It will pay you. It'll pay you to know.
It's FOMC today too, guys.
Yes. 2:00 is going to be psychotic.
I thought that was usually Wednesdays.
Yeah, Thursdays. Well, sometimes Wednesdays, depending on what situation. The other thing is that the speculation is kind of on the fence, whether people are going to speculate that there's no change in the rate. Some are speculating there's going to be a 25 base point drop. We could be surprised with that, and it would just send the market exactly to my bullish measured move target on Q pretty quickly. If they were going to drop rates, I'm going to call it out. 514.25 would be a good closing target. Perfect measured move. It's parabolic as it is. That would be the surprise that would get us there. If they're going to be stagnant and say the rate's going to stay the same, maybe it'll pull back to 510.50 or possibly as low as the half back to 507 where we opened or so. Reasonable. Let me put my purple mark on it. We'll call that my self-proclaimed analyst target for the day. If we get that 25-point basis surprise, then yeah, we'll hit that pretty easy. Pretty simple. Rates drop, the market pops. How else do you say it? I'm sitting out of it though. I'm not going to trade it. Normally I'd be scalping the crap out of that on futures. Today, I'm going for a bike ride. I'm trying to condition my legs and maybe enter a mountain bike race soon. So
good. That's awesome, dude. Good luck.
Thanks, man. I've been
safe.
Beating the crap out of my legs, so I'm going to keep doing it. Shut up, legs. Keep pedaling.
That's funny.
Yeah, I had to say that over and over. Anyway, I think we pretty much covered it, and sit tight. I think next week we're going to be able to put out some really good themes. Matthew and I have a litany of things that we were looking into, and kind of leaning on which candidate took the lead. And so far, it's Trump. So we're looking at themes we're going to start talking about next week to get into place for trading this market the way it should be. And there's a couple of themes that are standing out. I can't name them yet. I want to hold off until Matthew can break it to you. He's got some stuff. The man is
awesome.
A profitable trader as well as a fund manager, which is he's a rare breed. Man after my own heart.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm going to get out of here. I think are we wrapping it up?
We're wrapping it, man. We're going to call it.
Man. Awesome.
Again, guys, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your your following and subscribing to our channel. And then above all, we could ever ask is pay it forward, tell your friends.
That's right.
We do this every week, twice a week. We're giving lots of fish away. You could literally throw a dart at one of our picks and make money typically. I'm not going to state that as a fact, but it's pretty much a fact. Again, pay attention to the disclaimer. Read that sucker again before you go and follow that. But, we're in it.